What did I miss? Brian here. And, well, it's hot, it's humid, there's a lot of water everywhere, it's post-Hurricane Beryl, but for the most part, it's nice outside. Today we got another firearm overview, and that is a custom AR pistol. Before we get into it, we always want to make sure that the firearm is unloaded. There's no mag, as you can see, and the chamber is empty. This is a custom AR pistol, and I say custom because it's literally custom. Usually when I do a firearm overview, I go over everything that it comes with, but in this case, it didn't come with much. All it came with was the box and a Palmetto State Armory sticker, and that's it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move everything off to the side. I'm gonna set this down and prop it up like so. There we go. You know what? I'm gonna raise the camera up just a little bit. There we go. Going more into this AR pistol, like I said, it's custom because it's literally custom. It's not a specific model, and I had to get it in pieces. More specifically, I had to get the upper receiver separate, the lower receiver separate, the bolt carrier group separate, and the charging handle separate. Now, luckily, the lower receiver came with the internals, but it didn't come with any mags, so I had to get a couple mags, and the upper receiver did not come with any sights, so I had to get those separate as well. I'm going to lift it and move it closer to the camera, but going more into the AR pistol, you can see an 11.5-inch barrel with an M-LOK rail system. It has two sling points on both sides, and it kind of swells up a little bit towards the middle there. Now, the top rail system is Picatinny, but all the other sides are M-LOKs. For the bolts, I went with a premium bolt. I heard a lot of good reviews on it, and so I chose to get it. Almost went with the nickel boron, but then I was advised to get something else. For the charging handle, I went with a Strike Industries charging handle because there's no point in getting a classic charging handle if I'm going to switch it out. And then for the sights, it just didn't come with any sights, so I had to get sights. I got the Magpul MBUS 3 or MBUS 3 flip-up sights. Looking at the lower, you got engravings on one side. You got the Palmetto State Armory logo, PA15, multi, and then the serial number. Now, it says multi because this lower will work for several different calibers. It will work for 556, 223, 458 SOCOM, 300 blackout, etc., etc. And it takes 556 rounds, but you could use 223 rounds as an alternative. More onto the lower receiver, it has the traditional mag release, traditional bolt release. It has a silver trigger rather than a black trigger. Then you got more engravings that say Palmetto State Armory, West Columbia, South Carolina. Then you got the select fire switch, a Magpul MOE grip, a Magpul trigger guard, and then the SBA4 arm brace. Then flipping it to the other side, you don't have much other than the PSA logo on the bolts, but other than that, that's pretty much it. Going more into the AR pistol platform, the reason why this is called an AR pistol is because, well, a couple things. The barrel length and the arm brace. The barrel is 11.5 inches, and the ATF states that if a rifle barrel is shorter than 16 inches, then that would be considered an SBR, or a short barrel rifle. And on top of that, if it has a stock, it would be considered a short barrel rifle. But because this is an arm brace, it's not considered a rifle, it's considered an AR pistol. The arm brace has an elastic strap on the back and there's a split in the middle. And the idea behind it is to mount the arm brace onto your arm, wrap the elastic strap around your arm, and makes it easier to shoot. I tried it, and in all honesty, it feels very uncomfortable. I would not recommend it. Now, to this day, you are allowed to shoulder arm braces. For a bit, the ATF made it to where you were not allowed to shoulder your arm brace, otherwise you have to classify it as an SBR, but as of right now, you're allowed to shoulder it.
Find this dude's name and ban him on every single platform.
And the cool thing about this arm brace is it's adjustable, which is pretty nice. So why did I get an AR pistol? Why did I get it in multiple pieces and in the configuration you see here on camera? Several different reasons. One, never owned an AR pistol before, let alone a regular AR. Two, cost savings. I was able to save some money getting it in multiple pieces rather than a fully built AR. And 3, some of the parts you see here, in my opinion, it was worth getting them rather than getting the classic parts. Otherwise, I would want to change them later on and I would have extra parts sitting around. Now, in total for everything, excluding the sights and the mag, I had to pay a total of $565. But this is not including taxes, shipping, and FFL transfer fees. But I will say, if I had bought a fully built AR, I would have had to pay an extra $60 to $70. So I saved some money there, getting it in pieces, put it together myself, and I used the money I saved to get some sights, mags, and some ammo. And so, enough about all that. Let's see how it performs down the range. So I have to say, for a budget AR pistol, I'm very impressed. This is perfect for a weekend warrior like most of us. The overall quality is exceptional. Now, it's nothing fancy like some of the bigger name brands out there like Radical Firearms, IWI, Daniel Defense, or Aero Precision, but I'm surprised as it's better than I expected, especially it being my first AR. It's got everything I need. The recoil is what you'd expect from an AR chambering in 5.56. It's not much, and it's pretty easy to control. Now, if it's your first time shooting a 5.56, then yes, it'll feel like there's a lot of recoil, but over time, you'll learn to manage it and you'll get used to it. Shouldering the arm brace is comfortable. The rubber doesn't warp as easily as other arm braces like the SBA 3 for example, and even after using it as how it's intended to be used, the rubber kept its shape. Now, if I did have the SBA 3 brace, the rubber would be more likely to bend, warp, and it would be all over the place. And that's because there's a lot less support for it, whereas the SBA 4 brace has support on both sides to reduce the chances of it from bending. For breaking it in, I used 62 grain 5.56 rounds and fired a couple hundred rounds. I also ran a couple mags loaded with 55 grain 223 rounds, and it fired each one with no problem. And the best part is, I haven't had a jam once. Accuracy is really good. I tested this AR pistol at various distances between 10 to 20 yards, and all of my shots were in groups within 4 to 5 inches of each other. Now, one thing to mention is, after firing 2.5 to 3 mags, the handguard got hot. In fact, it was so hot I couldn't hold on to it and I had to let it sit and cool down. And this was indoors. There was no mag dumping as it wasn't allowed. I was just firing one round and pausing for 1 second before firing again. Some cases, I fired 2 shots before pausing. My advice is to get some gloves, and if you don't have gloves, let it rest until it's safe to hold on to it again without burning yourself. Lastly, for the viewers out there, I tested this firearm with 3 mags at 3 different capacities, starting with the 20 round short PMag, the 30 round standard PMag, and lastly, the 40 round extended PMag.
This is already ridiculous as is. I can only imagine what it's like with a drum mag.
And so that is it for this video. This concludes the overview of my custom AR pistol. If you're subscribed, thanks. If you're not, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Take care everyone. I'll catch you on the flip side.